female
I
Brian,
remember that.
and she's like,
so challenging and thrilling, and it just takes a lot of energy out of me.
that was the icing on the cake.
I fucking screamed.
The whole game was good. It's pretty scary.
Hello everyone, this is Javi Rios from Beefy Gamers, and I'm with my good friend and co-host
Sith Lord Jinx. Papa
today.
Bear. Hey.
Oh, my bad.
Papa
My bad.
Bear to signify the end of the NFL season.
Yes, it's over. It's buried, and I can't wait until next season. So
Alright.
let's leave it like that.
That's it.
I'm a very happy person.
I
So
bet you are a little bitch.
I know. Anyway, so today this could have been a horrific game. So we're gonna carry on to horrific things as horrific survival horror games, or to any genre like zombies or whatever, anything scary. So we're just gonna explain and talk about our favorite top 3 games, and we're gonna talk about the game that we missed from the past that we would still like to play, not get remastered, but still like to go back and play back in PS2, PS1, or Nintendo or Atari. I don't know. So I'm gonna let my good friend and co-host Sith Lord Jinx, Baby Papa Bear.
Baby Papa Bear.
Is it Baby Papa Bear?
You know what? You just add the baby in there.
I like the baby.
I'll go with that.
He's
Baby
been a great
Papa
sport. He saw a Super Bowl with me, and it was good company. For a second there, I wanted to kick him out of the fucking place, but it was great company, win or lose. So anyway, I'm gonna give the mic to my good friend.
Thank you very much. So let's start off with my 3 all-time favorite horror games. And that includes, whether you're talking about ghosts, zombies, or demonic spirits or what have you. And I'm only go by title because some of these games have multiple titles. They got a part 1, part 2, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna overall. So my all-time favorite horror game would be The Suffering, and that's a game I played on the original Xbox.
Ooh.
And actually, I didn't. Honestly, at the time, I wasn't. I would just pick up games. I didn't go research and this and that, and I wasn't, doing any of that beforehand. So I just go by the store, saw a cover that I liked, picked up a game. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't like it. That's the way it went. But this was one of the first games that had a horror background. And for those of you who don't know, it's basically you're in a prison where they used to experiment on prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, since this has been so long, I can't remember the details. I don't know if I had to do something.
I remember watching you play the game a little bit too.
Yeah. And most of the games always seem to have like a sort of like a German background. There was a German scientist doing shit. But I'm not sure if this was the case.
Nazis.
Damn them. But they make for good source material for scary movies, don't they?
And Marvel movies.
And Marvel movies.
Oh, they're Russians, I think.
So there's experiments going on, and that's what made the game was first person. You're in a prison. You're walking around. It's an empty prison. It's been long abandoned, and I'm not sure why you're there. I don't know if you're dropped off there, you're whatever, but you find yourself there because it's been a long time ago. But as you're going and you're finding out about yourself or about what's happened in the past, when you're walking through it's dark, it's dreary, it's scary.
Yeah.
There's medical facilities that you're walking through, and there's always, all of a sudden, there's a flashback, and that's where they get you. The sound and the flashback takes up the whole screen, and just out of nowhere,
really?
And it just pops in your face kind of thing. It's like, holy shit, and they're screaming. A lot of times it starts off with a screaming. Either a prisoner screaming because they're being tortured. It just pops up out of nowhere. And so when I first started playing it, I found myself jumping a couple of times because it's just out of nowhere. And I liked it. It was fun. And this is a game I played during the day. And I find myself, feeling like I'd have to put it down sometimes because it was like really scary. It was they did a good job. And of course there was a sequel, and I did get the sequel, but I don't recall too much of it.
Yeah.
But that is my all-time favorite scary game that made me actually jump. My second one would have to be Resident Evil 5. I started 5. That was a co-op, but I enjoyed it. It was the same, and that's a different kind of scary. It's more fast-paced action with things jumping out at you. I don't know if there's always been some debate that I've heard. I'll just call them zombies anyways. You're in Africa, you're going around. What I liked about it is like you switch stuff up as far as weapons and stuff, but they pop out at you. Like sometimes they'll grab you, and they got their little face that expands and tentacles coming out. So
yeah,
that was
crazy shit.
Usually when it comes to horror movies, horror games is just as like horror movies. What grabs is the unexpected. Usually something popping out where you don't expect it. If the whole screen changes and scares you, that's what makes it scary.
Yeah.
Or in this last case of the last game that I really, and it's a series, is the Left 4 Dead. Same thing. It's dark. You're running. You have to kill these zombie things. You have to survive. The first game had one interesting element that really, really made it scary. And there's a character on there pretty much any Left 4 Dead fan knows, is the witch. And you're going through any state, any level, and it's funny because I guess you call it the AI, because the witch will be anywhere. It's not going to be always in the same spot. If you're running a level, you're not going to find her by the railroad tracks all the time.
What does she look like?
She was pale, and the thing is, you're coming across because when you could hear her crying. That's the thing. It's like from a distance where you're playing, where you're running through, say, an alleyway.
Yeah.
You can hear a distant crying, but you don't know where it's coming from. It's a female crying,
I remember that.
and she's like, and you don't know and you don't want to run into the witch because as soon as you get too close and you startle her, she gets up and she starts screaming. She runs after you. She starts scratching you, and there's no way to kill her. She's like almost impossible to kill once you get her going. I mean, the only thing you can do is run away and try to hide to where she goes back to crying. That's pretty much the only way to get away. So what sucks is that you don't know where most of the time you run into her because you're trying to avoid her because you can't tell where the crying's from. And it sucks really bad if she is crying in a location to where you have to get through. You have to get through a doorway to get away from zombies, and she'll be crying like right next to the doorway. So there's no way around it, and you have to get through the doorway. And she'll get up, and you just start hauling ass, and that's all you can do is just try to get away.
So what was the backstory for her? Like, what is she a main villain or?
She's just one of the. She's not a main villain, but she can fuck you up.
But they never explain anything why.
Maybe there's linear notes about her, but I don't really care to look into it. But all I know is like
I would. She was all fucking scary. Unstoppable.
All I know is like she was like that was the. There's all these other things that you try. There's like a huge giant zombie thing that comes at you.
Yeah.
And it's called a tank. And usually you're more worried about things like that. And those are the big challenges. But then she's there in the background, kind of like, how do you call it? Something just to fuck up your whole day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be the last game on my list. And just that one little element the whole game was good. It's pretty scary, but that was the icing on the cake. Especially because of the inconvenient places she would come out, and the crying. Just after a while, the crying just is burned into your head, so you know it right off the bat. It's like, oh my god. So those are my all three favorite games, and each one had a unique element.
What about the game that you missed?
And the game that I do, and I have the series because I hear other people have played it. One series, and I did own one of the games. I would like to and I probably will revisit and actually really play it. Is Silent Hill. The only one I ever picked up, and I think that's maybe the third or fourth game into the series, I picked up Origins, and I picked it up for the PSP. So that's the only Silent Hill game I ever bought. Never got a chance to really get into it. I played it for a couple of minutes. I never really gave it a chance because I had other things going on, probably Left 4 Dead. But that's one game, because it seems like it's sort of like, follows along the line of like Resident Evil and stuff. And I should have given it a chance. I'm pretty sure I will, and I wouldn't doubt. Luckily for me, I still have all my old systems in my home. I have everything going back to the Nintendo. That's awesome. So all I got to do is make a copy. If I don't want to feel like playing a remastered version of anything, because I'm not really sold on those things. I still have the original console. I can hook up, and I'll just go ahead and buy the original game and just play it that way. And I don't know. I just enjoy the how do you call it? The imperfections of original games. Instead of trying to polish it.
Yeah, but it's sometimes it's kind of hard because like when you want to play like an old game, like let's say Silent Hill, like I played that before. Thinking about it, mechanics wise, it was very like, what do you say? It's very choppy, you know. And I don't think you would have the patience to go back and play like that style.
Well, I think I would. I mean, like recently I started playing my Nintendo games.
No.
And you know, compared to the games that we have now.
Oh yeah.
So you know,
those are
but
different.
Anything. Yeah. But you know what I mean. I have patience for that. I think it's changed. Now, back I wouldn't be able to even play it. Now I do enjoy taking time and like I played Modern Warfare and the remastered version I played it and it does fall like the old version. And it is choppy, and it's your menus are limited, but still, I enjoyed those things. I don't think I would mind it because it takes you back from how the games are now. You know, I like them, but sometimes it feels like a little too slick, a little too, you know. Part of the older games is the difficulty of playing it. Is because the controllers were stupid, or the controller was frustrating.
It's true.
You know,
back then there were no toggles on the PlayStation 1 controller until they came out like in 2002 or 2001. They came out with toggles. I mean, they came out with PS2, of course, and those hot toggles.
So those games were scary and they were hard to play. It made it more frustrating, more scary. You can't avoid the witch. Because you can't see her. You don't have 360 view where you can see her from 10 miles away. No, you see her when she's right underneath your feet. I was like, what the fuck?
Did she come on the second one or no?
On the second one, I don't think so. On the second one, they had a new, what do you call it? Trump card, which was, I forgot what he was called, but he spits at you. And he has a really long tongue, and he drags you towards him. He could be like at the top of like a 10-story building, and he'll walk by, and I think he makes a sound, and then if you don't know, like a scream or something or a screech, and next thing you know, a tongue just wraps around your neck and just pulls on you. So
I remember trying to play that game, and like at that time, I wasn't really into shooting games, and I knew why because all I would do is just shoot on the ground, like. Because I was still like kind of new to adjusting around, like using both toggle controllers to move around and stuff and shoot. So like it was really hard for me, and that's why I never really got into the whole series because I knew that I was gonna suck at it. It was frustrating, so I just went back to Madden. That's pretty much.
See, it took me a while. It was games. I think it was Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
That allowed me to use both controllers, both toggles, and like you said, not shoot at the ground.
Yeah.
Get frustrated because I would do that, like shoot straight at the ground, and then like try to pull up, and shoot straight at the sky, and die because I couldn't get the in between part.
I remember those.
You know, and it took a while. I was like, you know, and now I'm a god.
Really?
Well, I'm good enough.
Good enough where you can.
I can last more than 3 minutes.
That's what she said. So, sometimes.
Hey, as long as I get mine. I tell all my women, like, hey, as long as I get mine, if you can't keep up, that's your problem.
I try to explain to my wife. It doesn't work.
Try it in Russian. Maybe she get the point.
Okay, for me, my top 3. And it's really hard because I'm very limited. I'm a limited player. I'm a casual gamer. I can admit to that. You know, even though I have a large volume of collection of games, maybe half of them I completed, but still I'm trying. And for scary games, it takes a lot out of me, and not just the whole game, just like chapters. Like Like some people, they can beat games like in three days to a week. You know, and the same amount of time. You know, for me, it would take me like a month or two, just because after each chapter I had to stop and take a break, and sometimes it was just too much. And for me right now, one of the games that I'm playing, Resident Evil 7, is that same feeling, and it's ridiculous because when you're trying to hide from the guy in the house, hold on, I'm gonna have to cut this out. I'll edit that out. Goddamn stupid cat. There's no K letter in there. All right, I'm gonna start off from the top again. All right. Well, for my top 3 games, and for me, it's really hard because horror games aren't my biggest thing, because usually it takes me forever to complete them, because after every chapter, it's almost like a challenge to push myself even further. So I would take sometimes I would take a day or 2 breaks, because I'd rather move on to a different game, because it just puts me in a different state of mind, especially with today's games, because they're just so challenging and thrilling, and it just takes a lot of energy out of me. But for right now, like, I'll start from the current and then go back to the past for my top 3. So the current one would be Resident Evil 7. And it was one of those games where it was almost like an afterthought, because when I read about it last year, I was thinking, okay, Resident Evil, okay, you know, is it going to be like the same zombie game where you're just running around shooting like different creatures and stuff? And technically you are, but it's a different state, because like I think they're more human like, so that's even scarier. And they have the same traits, you know, and like emotionally it's disturbing, because you know, it feels like almost like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Outlast, because you're still hiding a lot, and now you have a gun, so you get to defend yourself, and you're still limited on ammo. There is ammo out there. You can craft weapons, craft bullets and stuff like that, and medical health kits and stuff like that. So there's a way of still trying to survive the game and still trying to defend yourself. But like, for instance, there's a part in the game where you're running the hallway, he's already chasing you, and I turn around the corner, and it's very random. Like, it's a linear game, but it still has this spontaneous moments. And there's a scene where you're running in the hallway, and he busts through the wall, and I fucking screamed. I was by myself. I fucking screamed. I was like, what the fuck? And I turn around, I get into another door, I close the door, and I hide behind, and then I can hear him walking around calling me out, like, to come out. And then instead of just a stupid AI, he opens the fucking door and he finds me, and man, I have to hit him or something like that and run away. There are parts where the game, like, he can't just be some unstoppable monster. Like, there'll be a scene where he punches me in the face, and I turn around, he's gone. And then you figure out the puzzle, and then you get through another passageway, and then he comes back again to fuck with you. So it's like, you know, it's still a game where it's just like, it's not relentless, but still it has that feeling. So for me, it's going to take a while to beat, because also I have other stuff I need to work on. But that game, it's going to time it over for a little while. And I'm really pleased that I actually bought the game, because it was still an afterthought. And it was a weird evolution too to this game, because when VR was still coming out for PlayStation, every E3 they had demos, and there was a demo called Kitchen. And with this one, there was one called Kitchen, and you wake up, you're tied up to a chair, and you see a guy on the ground, and the guy comes up to you, and he just wakes up too, like he just got knocked out, and he's trying to free you, and he gets a knife, and he's cutting your rope or whatever. And of course it's VR, so it looks like it's the blades attacking you, but it's not. And all of a sudden he gets killed by some creature, and it was actually from the Resident Evil. They just took little pieces, so they keep renaming the project. So Kitchen was Resident Evil, and then it became Resident Evil 7. So it was kind of cool how it evolved within the years. So that's the first game. The second game would have to be the Dying Light. Dying Light and Dead Island. They're kind of like in between, because the same developers kind of, It was Techland and I forgot the other company. They both developed Dead Island, and then they went off and split up and did their own zombie games. But Techland still did Dying Light, and it was probably one of the most like thrilling games because with Dying Light, of course, there's the zombies and stuff, and I wasn't really good at crafting weapons, but the zombies were so good at interacting with you, and like you could chop off certain limbs and stuff, and they still try to move and attack you. But the biggest challenge for me was the nighttime because they have these thing called the volatiles, and they were like hypersensitive, and like so you had to like stealth, be very very stealth to get around them, and they had like a little radar thing. Some people said it was pretty easy. Some people said, of course, not, and I was pretty much not. So that was one of the scariest moments. And then there was times where I didn't have enough ammo, and it was impossible in some challenges, some chapters. So that was probably like one of the hardest games to beat, Dying Light. And then Dead Island was more natural to me. I liked it, but because it was almost like cheating, because there was times where you would die and then they would push you up further in the level. Oh wow! So like, but it was so funny because there was a guy where he was hard to kill, and I kept throwing my weapons at him. He had like 4 of my machetes and some other weapons, and it was stuck on him. And then he killed me. And then when they respawned me, it was further back, so I had to go back and get my weapons from him. So I eventually killed him and took all my weapons back. So it was funny, and it was kind of cheap too, because I remember when I beat Dead Island, the main guy that we had to kill. It was so funny because like I would get him, I would knock out maybe a quarter of his life, and then he would kill me. And then when I came respawned it, he still had only a quarter of his life left. So like little by little, so I kept dying. Like there was no there was no challenge. So like I said, oh, fuck it, I'll just do what I can, and then I'll die and I'll come back and
just eventually kill him.
Yeah, it took me like 4 chances, and I eventually killed him. So I was like, it was kind of weird. It was very cheap, but it was still thrilling.
Cheap but effective.
It was a good strat. I wish I had that strategy the whole time, and then it took me until halfway through the game. I'm thinking, well, they're rewarding me. I'm dying in this game. They're pushing me forward to the game. It's almost like you're shitting like in school and they keep passing you. Like, you know what, this guy, he can't read. It's okay. Yeah, he'll catch on next summer. There's a new Harry Potter book out there. Someone will read it. So that was one of there was a mixture of those two games where there was really thrilling and I really enjoyed playing. And I actually bought the remastered edition for Dead Island, and it comes with like another game too. I think Riptide. It's not a sequel, but it's like almost like an add-on. And I still haven't had a chance to play them yet. It probably looks just like Dying Light, you know, nicer graphics and stuff like that. So I can hold off on that game. My last game would be Silent Hill. That's like my proudest achievement ever. That game. Beating that game, I felt so proud of it, you know. Even though my friend beat it like in 6 hours, it took me like 3 months, but I don't care. I really took my time. I bought the strategy guide because I wanted to find all the little tricklets and stuff, you know, trinkets. Like, it really helped me too because back then they had a tendency of like having a bad ending, good ending, and the best ending. I hate that shit, but I think I had the best ending because I was able to like do certain stuff in chronological order where it helped me get the best ending. And I just got the strategy guide because I just need help. You know, back then, I mean, I don't think I had internet access, so I couldn't really look up anything online back then. And that was like back in 2000 or 99. So even though the internet was still going, it wasn't that advanced. So that was one of my favorite achievements. Like, and like for one scene, I remember you had to cross the bridge to get to the other side of Silent Hills, the town, and there was a like abandoned school, and it was a normal school, you know. Like you walk in, whatever, you find the hints and other stuff. Then all of a sudden you start like getting unconscious, or you knock out or something like that. You wake up and you're like in the nightmare version of that school. So there's like. It's like chain link type fencing on the walls and on the floor. There's like blood and guts everywhere. And then, like, the scariest part for me in that was, like, there was, like, little laughs, like, ghostly laughs and stuff like that. And I would turn around and I would see little ghosts. And they're like, look, I mean, you can't kill them. But I would shoot at them just because it scared the shit out of me. And you couldn't kill them. They don't attack you. They're just there to scare the shit out of you. And it actually helped a lot. So, that game for me, Silent Hill, was probably the proudest achievement before I got into playing, like other complicated games. And it had puzzles like anything else, and of course the strategy guide helped me with the puzzles because I was not good at figuring stuff out like that. But the ending, I forgot the boss. There was not really a boss. It was just you had to do certain things to end the game. And then the CGI, and that's another thing, the CGI too, it would tell you a great story, and so I didn't want to miss anything out, so the strategy guide helped me out a lot. And those are probably have to be my top 3 games. I played some other horror games, but the one I think I missed out the most was Manhunt. And it's more like a stealth survival horror game. And you're basically like in a prison or something. And there's like this challenge where you have to. Everyone has a. I think it's like it was like a game. I just looked it up. But the whole premise is like you're just like trying to be the last man standing in the game. So you're either hiding or you're trying to kill someone. And it was just creepy because like everyone had different costumes and masks, and it was so menacing, and it was actually very grotesque. And I think it came out in 2003. So that was during the PS2 and Xbox era. And I never got the copy of it. I kept looking at it and I'm like thinking, that's not for me. I was like, I'm gonna stick to Madden, what I know, and I'll be happy with that. So that's one game, and actually I can still play it on the PS4. They didn't remaster it, but they have the thing where you can buy it and you can still play it from the PS4. So that's nice. I might do it. But the only thing is it's like $14.99 the game. So I don't know if it's worth it or not, because it's gonna be the same graphics, same everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still contemplating. I got other games to play, but that's pretty much.
So that's your list.
That's my top 3.
And the one that got away.
The one that got away was Manhunt.
Yeah,
definitely. I have to keep it real, because I don't know. There's a lot of games that I've got away. I haven't had a chance to play, but that's
we're talking about horror.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's a pretty good list.
Yeah, it was.
It was. I guess that's it for this episode. And gearing up to, get us excited about eventually watching a horror movie to tie into it.
You know what? I did watch the movie Ouija, the origin story.
Oh yeah, I just finished getting that one too.
Dude, it is fucking good. And then after I finished watching it, I started playing Resident Evil 7. It's not the same like premise, of course, but like it's still
get you in the mood.
Fuck, dude. It made me even more scared. It made me not even want to move at all. Like maybe we just want to keep hiding until like, there's the thing about Resident Evil 7. It's like it's not like a lot of games where like in Assassin's Creed or some other games where you can find the person behind the wall. You know how you can see like almost like an X-ray version of the person.
Yeah. Like
you can walk around. Like I wish it had in this game, because I don't know when he's gonna pop out in the hallway. It could be you can hear his voice, and the voice acting is great, because when you hear him in the hallway, it's just like it'll be light and then heavy, light, heavy, so you can feel he's pacing, and just it's so damn. It's not just a flat voice. It has that depth where it feels like you're in that situation, and it's nerve wracking. I want to play it tonight, but I'm not sure. So, good. Is there a current game that you're playing right now that has to do with anything horror wise?
Well, no, there's not really anything out there right now. They should. There's games they should make like that. Something have to do with possession or something. That'd be fun. Because that movie, to have a game where there's a little creepy girl whispering into your ear, I mean, come on, that's golden right there.
Maybe
they need to come
Fatal
up with
Frame.
some
That's
games.
one game I kind of wish I played too. Fatal Frame. It was a PC game, but I think also they finally ported it to Xbox 360. I think. And
Yeah, there's been a couple of games that I remember because I used to buy a magazine, Fangoria. Sadly, it went out of print. But they had a section in there that review video games, and I recall a couple of games that they reviewed that were strictly PC. There was an actual Hellraiser game, puzzle box and everything, and I think this was like in the early 90s, like 93, 94. You know, but the fact that they had that going back in the days, and I was like, that'd be interesting to apply to games. Graphics. There are people are ambitious to put those games to, but at the time, it was PC, and even now, you know what I mean. There's horror ideas, horror movies that can be made into games that'd be just as scary. I mean, we have a handful, but there's always room for more scary games. Because there's a plethora of action games out there. Everything from Modern Warfare to Gears of War.
Yeah.
I just think there's like a little bit of a demand and that hasn't been met for horror games.
Yeah, I think after Resident Evil 7 and how people have reacted to this game, and I think we're going to see more games like this down the future. I mean, there has been games like this. But they're mostly on the PC, and it's sad too because I know there's some developing, like they're making a new Friday the 13th game. It should come out sometime later this year or next year. But it kind of reminds me of that 29 Days to Survive or something like that, where you're just running around. But this actually, it is a story because I remember I've seen it played live on IGN on Facebook, and I think they only played it for like 20 minutes or whatever. But yeah, dude, like you're being chased by Jason, and there's a scene where like you go in the house, and you have to somehow like almost board the wall, like the windows, and they give you choices too. Like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to protect the window or the door or whatever? And you can set traps and stuff. No. And the trap didn't work. He put it on the door. It was like one of those, like those bear claw things or whatever, bear traps, and like he didn't get it. It didn't happen. Like he somehow missed them or something. There was a glitch or something. That's kind of bullshit. I'd be pretty pissed.
He just goes through the wall.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
like
much.
The movie. He'll just skip he'll stand there in front of the bear trap, and then he'll just walk right next to it, right through the wall.
Yeah. And another one is the H1Z1. I really wanted to play that game because I was hearing good things about it. But now that I'm kind of like Fallout flavor of multiplayer games, I feel like it kind of falls into that thing where it's kind of gimmicky. Because I had a good friend, he was playing the beta version of H1Z1. It was only just for PC strictly, and he had to pay $5 for a drop kit. And the thing that sucked about this drop kit is like everyone's playing online, so everyone can see the helicopter coming through, and then when they drop it off, it has like this little screen smoke, and then on top of that, somehow magically like 6 zombies will pop out of nowhere, and you have to kill the zombies just to get to the drop box. And you're paying $5 to do this. But another thing, a kick in the ass, is like while you're killing those 5-6 zombies, another person can run in there, open up your box, and take your shit and leave. I was like, that's some bullshit.
So basically, you're paying somebody $5 to kick you in the balls, huh? So you can take it.
I was like, I'm gonna play this game. I think they might have like patched it where it's a little. I hope so. I hope they patched that section. I hope they fixed that glitch, like where it's like they at least give you a nice, decent window to kill these zombies and get your stuff instead of having. Because I remember Dying Light was kind of like that same premise too. Like there'll be drop boxes, but you don't have to pay for shit. It's just random, and if an online player sees it, he can get it before you and stuff. So that kind of sucked, but it happened before because I've done that several times, and I get my ass kicked. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I got the box, and then like I black out and die because someone from behind hit me with a fucking hammer. I think even the trailer was like that too. So it was pretty exciting about that game. So that's why it's one of my top 3 games to play. So that's pretty much it, man. This is episode 5. We really don't have we don't really have a working title for it, but I guess top 3 horror games / games that we missed that wanted to play. So that sounds right.
Something like that. How about like scary games, past and present?
I feel like this, like, I don't know, for this whole Super Bowl, I feel a little drained. So I feel like it's like almost like one of those AM type radio, like,
especially for you, you're coming after the high effect of your stupid team winning.
Woo! Yeah, there you go. Okay, have a little more energy. I feel like I just smoked like 2 blunts, and I'm just like really chilling right now. And I'm just like, I just need to eat that one more brownie.
I think it's more because of the exhaustion of the game of almost losing and just.
Yeah, I mean, and I really appreciate you staying here and like watching me suffer for 3 quarters, and then
even though you blame me for bringing the
I still blame you. You walked in and LeGarrette Blount fumbled the ball. I'm like, what the fuck? We were doing just fine. We were 0-0.
What's up, bitches?
We're all 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and all of a sudden, Manny had to come in and just Mr. Siflor Jinx had to come in and just.
I brought in the fumbleitis.
But you did bring soda, so I did appreciate that.
Brought the Dr. Pepper too.
And the pizza we never ate, so I'll save for later.
Yeah, for the next gaming session.
So again, thanks again for checking out our episode 5 of games that we played and games that we wish played that were horror, and hopefully we'll have some more episodes down the future. So again, this is Javi Rios of Beefy Gamers, and
this is Papa Bear, Sith Lord Jinx.
Oh, it's Baby Papa Bear.
Baby Papa Bear. Correction, Baby Papa Bear.
This is Baby Papa Bear. I'll remember that one because I made it up. I added something to it. I mean, whatever. I don't care. I'm tired. So again, thank you for hearing our podcast, and we'll have more for you down the future. So thanks a lot.
And
see you
later.
later.
With the lights on.
Woo. All right.